Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This game was played in clutch champions with the white pieces. Here we have the 5 times world champion Magnus Carlsen facing off against the current reigning world champion, that is Gukesh Dommaraju, and this is going to be one epic game. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Here Magnus starts with knight to f3. He starts with the ready and he just d5 by Gukesh. We have g3 and just going for c6. This is the King's Indian attack. We have bishop to g2, bishop to g4, c4 now. This is the Karakan defensive system. e6, c captures, bishop captures, just trading the bishop pair early on. C captures and just castles in this position. Knight to c6, just a developing move. d4, taking away that space in the center, and also you want to take control of the center, but that will happen slowly. Knight f to c6, knight to c3, and here just going for bishop to e7, e3 now, and castles, and now just comes bishop to d2, rook to c8, all developing moves. Now just getting some control over this semi-open file, and here just queen to e2. Knight to e8 now, also somewhere along the line preparing that f5 thrust, but not as soon as possible. Here rook f to c1, just countering that rook. Knight to d6, bishop to e1, and now just going for queen to d7, and here in this position just queen to d1. This is a precursor here in this position, and now the move that you want to play in this position is actually f5. You could also go for g6, then preparing f5, but the thing is that f5 is the move that Gukesh played as well, and he's definitely pushing in this position to try and get a win. Here bishop to e2 now, and now just comes knight to e4, getting the knight towards that very center and a centralized piece now, and it's going to be very difficult to get rid of. You're going to have to weaken your king side to be able to get rid of that knight. So is Magnus going to do it immediately, or is he going to do it later? First, well, the threat is just basically picking this up and just creating a weak backward spawn, and you don't want that to happen. So he just knight to e4 by Magnus, also preparing this very nice knight to c5, and in this position just bishop to d6 was played. Although you could go for this move with g5, just trying to immediately create something towards the king side. After f3 you play knight to f6, a3, h5, and now after rook to c2 now you just go for bishop to d6, rook a to c1, g4 now, and here after bishop to b5 I think your position should be fine. I mean, white is definitely better, but you have created some counterplay to be able to push for something here, and definitely you would reap the benefits of that as well. But here after knight to a4, bishop to d6 was played immediately, and now just comes f3, pushing the knight back. Knight goes to f6 and knight to c5 in this position, attacking the queen, queen to e7 and knight to d3. Obviously you don't want that to happen, and here just rook to c7 and b4 now with the threat of b5. If you play a6 in this position, then what will happen is just I'll push that a4 thrust and my position would be really fine. I mean, I'm preparing b5 and there's not much you can do about it. So rook f to c8, doubling up towards the c file, and here we have b5 nonetheless. Here just knight to d8, we have rook captures, and a4 in this position. So Magnus is trying to create some chances towards the queen side by pushing those pawns, and maybe also just threatening something, because he doesn't have anything towards the king side. If he just sits idly and allows Gukesh to attack him, that is never a good option. Just keeping the entire initiative in your opponent's hand is never a good option. Here just knight to f7, and now just comes a5, g5 now, but here just a6. So Magnus is giving a chance to Gukesh as to what he should do. Although instead of a6 you could have also gone for rook to b1, preparing the move, and after b6 now you push f4, and here after g4 just queen to a4. So you would push towards the queen side, but you would have some chances. After queen to e8 you play rook to a1, knight to e4, a captures, and the position should be fine. You are occupying the entire a file, and somewhere along the line here in this position you should be able to maybe just have some winning chances. Maybe if you're able to actually capture this pawn. Other than that you don't have much. But here after a6 now just comes b6, and b6 just stopping the advancement of those pawns, and rook to c1 by Magnus, asking for a trade. If you go for this queen to d7 in this position, your position should be fine. You play rook caps on c7, queen captures, king to g2, and after king to f8 here just h3 will be played. You go h5, you create the chances, queen to c1 asking for a trade, you just trade everything, and now you go into this endgame where you do have 2 knights against 2 bishops, and the thing is that most likely this game should with perfect play end in a draw, but only person with slight bit of an edge in this position is white, but it's very difficult to capitalize on that. But here after rook to c1, just e5 was played by Gukesh, and e5 just gives Magnus, a chance to be able to attack towards the king side, which is not something that you should have given in this position, because you have to understand that everything has been closed down towards the queen side. Magnus doesn't have anything towards the queen side, although all he can do is, hey, trade and ask for a queen trade. You just trade that as well, and once everything is traded off, now you try to go into an endgame which you can grind for a few more moves until you realize that the position is a draw. But the thing is that, hey, you give Magnus some chance, you give him some chance to be able to attack the weak backwards pawn that you have created, which is this f5 pawn, and now you're going to be in trouble, because Magnus exactly does that. He is actually 3 minutes ahead in time than Gukesh, and what he does in this position is actually amazing, because he finds the move. Takes 3 minutes definitely, but it's important to calculate every possibility in this position. Here rook caps on c7 and just comes queen captures, d caps on e5, and here just knight captures was played, and after knight captures, bishop captures. And you must be wondering, how do you attack that f5 pawn? Well, just develop the bishop, and now you're attacking the pawn. There is no way to save it other than to push it, and here Gukesh pushes it. But the thing is that it makes your king much more vulnerable. Now e captures was played, now comes g captures, king to g2, and here in this position a move with bishop back would have been the fine way to do it, because you are kind of guarding it. Even though something like that, you won't have that much pressure towards it, maybe somewhere along the line you would want the queen to enter the position. How you're going to do that? Well, you're going to have to figure that out. But the thing is that still, maybe a passive move in this position and a waiting move would have been fine, but here just king to g7 was played, and now queen to e2. That comes with an attack towards the bishop, and bishop to d4 was played. But the thing is that bishop was guarded, you don't have to worry about it. But the thing is that centralizing the bishop and giving it some chances to be able to attack was the idea. But now you allow the queen in, queen to e6, and it's looking much scarier with every move that Magnus is making. Here queen to d7 was played, and now it's actually, well, a very difficult idea, because now queen to c6 is the idea. If you take, I just create a pass pawn, so obviously you're not going to take in this position, and you weaken your squares, but it doesn't matter. Black's pass pawn is not going to do anything. White's pass pawn is going to be really strong. It's going to be difficult to get rid of it, so you're going to have to avoid the trade. Maybe just play f caps on g3 and maybe just wait and see what will happen. If white trades, I'll be a happy person, but after knight captures, I may just survive in this waters. But the thing is that here bishop to f5 was played by Magnus, and he had time, but he was not able to find the right idea. And the thing is that now Gukesh is able to actually draw this game or force this move to do that. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video, try and find out this only defensive resource that black has in this position. Just have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is queen captures on b5. This was the only move that Gukesh had in this position to be able to try and survive. You play queen to e7 check. This was the thing, because now the check is coming. Bishop is already eyeing this. Is this lost game? Well, not really. King to h8 and you don't have anything. Bishop is guarding the knight. There is not much. If you go for bishop to e6 in this position, just queen to e8 comes, and now you're gonna have to trade. If you don't trade, you go for queen to d6, then just comes f caps on g3, and after h captures, now just you push this h6 and your position is fine. It's only a 0.9 advantage, but still you can hold this position. Yes, g4 is gonna come in, but you have some ideas with bishop to c5 attacking the queen. You cannot directly capture it, and because the knight is doing a very fine job of defending everything, and you're gonna have to defend the knight somewhere along the line, because you are moving the bishop away. But still, the queen, once it falls back, your position will be much more safe. But here after bishop to f5, queen caps on e6 was played, and he thinks that maybe just going for a draw, maybe just going for an endgame in this position is fine, and maybe you'll be able to hold this position for a draw. But here after bishop captures, you realize that your position is far worse. Bishop to e3, now just comes this bishop to b4, d4. If you allow the bishop to come to this diagonal, the game is completely over. Here bishop to c4 was played, now just comes knight to d7, bishop to d6, and just f caps on g3, h captures, and here king to f6, but just f4. And here after h5, we have king to f3, bishop to d2, and maybe here king to e4 would have just been game, because you see all of this is free. Basically, you can go to all of these squares for free. Hey, bishop to e1, now just comes king caps on d4, bishop to e3, king to d5, bishop to f2, king to c6, and you see what I mean. You can just enter here without any problems. Knight to c5, you play bishop to b8, and yeah, the game is over after this. There is no way you can do anything. All I have to do is just cover this square, and next I'm capturing this, and pushing the pawn, and there, yeah, you can just resign here. But after bishop to d2, bishop to d5 was played by Magnus, and this is completely over still. Bishop to e1, now just comes bishop to c6, attacking the knight, king to e6, now guarding it, bishop to c7, and hey, just going for bishop to a5. The idea was basically, just to capture that somewhere along the line, capture this, and then after capture that, if the bishop wasn't here, after capture, you just create a pass pawn, and it's impossible to try and, just stop the promotion. That was the idea, but here Gukesh stopped it with few seconds on his clock. But here just comes the final blow. f5 check, and you are not in time to do anything. Still, here Gukesh played king to e7, but after king to e4, here Gukesh just resigned the game, and Magnus gets the spectacular victory in the first round of the Clutch Champions. This is a double round robin, so Gukesh will have the white pieces. Let's see what he does in the next round. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Although this was a great fight and Gukesh had some chances, but creating that weakness and being extra aggressive in this position is the reason Magnus got the chance, and with the white pieces he was able to convert. So Magnus is playing some of the spectacular chess. Let's see what will happen here in the next round and also in day 3. So yeah, thank you very, very much for watching.